Hey, good morning, my friends. It is Monday, June 17th, 2024. I, of course, am Hammer coming to you with your daily mortgage rate update. So excited to be back in the office and coming to you live this morning. Remember, you can join me live each and every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, at least in the week, broadcasting to you on Facebook and YouTube. This week, remember, Wednesday is I won't be live on. However, if you were here this morning, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget, give me a hashtag replay. Let me know in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Don't forget to smash that like button if you're on Facebook. Tag an LO friend. Share us in a group. Help me grow this. We've had 50, 60 people on. Sometimes I only have 30 lately. I'd love to get over 100. Help me get another loan officer coming on and joining us each and every day. So please go ahead and tag your LO friends in the comments. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Give us a comment, whether you're here live or on the replay. Let's go ahead and say hi to the live folks here this morning. We got Mike Thibault here, Mallory Fodiatis, Megan Lindberg. Good morning. We got Mr. Ron Siegel here, letting us know that today is National Apple Strudel Day. National Apple Strudel Day. How do you like your apple strudel? I like apple strudel. Kind of like a extra sugary apple pie, ain't it? Easy to eat. A little bit of that extra wet sugar on top there drizzled on. So I'm thumbs up for National Apple Strudel. Do you like apple? And then that will lead me to today's question of the day. Let's make the question of the day today. What is your favorite type of pie? Today's not a pie day, but because strudel, I'm going to go with pie. So what's your favorite type of pie? Do you like apple pie? It's American is apple pie. Key lime pie would probably be my favorite still. Coconut custard is good. Lemon meringue. Love me some lemon meringue pie. I love sugar. Ron Siegel said National Apple Strudel with some vanilla ice cream on top. Warm with vanilla ice cream on top would be very good. Angela Walters, good morning. Great to have you here. All right, y'all answer the question. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about what we got going on this morning. By taking the technical charts on here. Start the day, mortgage-backed securities down about 9 basis points. Not really much, but it is all best levels. I'm going to draw a quick chart for you. I want to point out to you, right? So I'm still following the 6.0 coupon, by the way. I think it's relevant. I know that Mortgage News Daily moved over to the 5.5, which means probably has a little bit more trading volume, but it's not going to make enough of a difference to matter. And I want to keep that consistency right now with this coupon. And I don't think we're going to move much higher in the near term. So I'm not really worried about that. But if you take a look here, we're going to basically put in this line. So see how it hits right here. It hits right here. I'm going to just pull this down a little bit more. There you go. Okay. So you can see drawing a technical indicator level here, and you could see we pushed up against it, fell a little bit right here. And over here this last week, we pushed up past it twice, but we were unable to stay above it. These long, thin lines are called wicks, and that's why these are called candlesticks. And the wick is the highest level, the highest point that we got on the day. But when it comes down, it ended the day at the body. Now, if it's a green body, we started low and we ended higher. That's good for your mortgage rates when we're looking at mortgage-backed security pricing, because the more the pricing goes up, the better that it is for your mortgage pricing on your rate sheet. When it goes down or a red candlestick, that means we started at a higher level and ended the day lower. Like here, we started at a higher level, ended the day lower. Red candlesticks are bad. So you can see on Friday, we started the day higher. There was a big jump from where we ended the day before to the next day, though. And we started here, and we were only down about 3 basis points on the day, but we did have a big jump on the day to start the day. And that's why it's a red candlestick like that. So you could see, though, this level has been very kind of clear. And I said on Thursday and Friday that we were close to capping out. I felt like we would really struggle to break above this level. Now, this red candlestick basically tells the story that we started high, but but ended the day low. So we have not ended the day broken above this level. And we're not likely to break above this level without getting some help from some kind of economic data, economic report. Now, that's where we have a little bit of complication because the economic calendar this week, we've got really nothing going on today. We've got nothing going on here. You could see a couple of Fed speakers, Fed Cook, Fed Harker. Tomorrow, we're going to have retail sales at 8:30 a.m. Now, retail sales, that could or could not be a kind of a big deal and help us out, right? So if the retail sales data shows weakness, then things could improve. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So this morning, rate sheets are a bit off from Friday. Not much. Again, down about 9 basis points, 8 basis points. They're not terrible. But we're off of those best levels of last week just a little bit. And I expect that we are seeing that rates are capping out for now. As far as reprice risk on the day, I would say it's moderate. And I'll tell you why. There's not a lot to give any kind of indicator. Everyone's coming back off of the long weekend. There's a really good chance we could see bonds drift lower today, putting some lenders in a position to reprice worse later in the day. So reprice risk today is moderate. Generally, your reprices are going to, come in on the broker side or the very aggressive retail lenders. They're probably priced a little bit better in the morning. And then if we see bonds continue to worsen, you'll see some reprices worse. Again, when this outlook like I see right here, I don't think rates are going to move much higher, but I also think they're going to move much lower. Markets seem very attentive to data more so than the Fed members. We're going to see lots of Fed speakers. We had Neel Kashkari over the weekend. I'll show you him in a minute, but basically markets much more attentive to the data than the actual Fed speakers. And markets are still pricing in a Fed rate cut. Let's go ahead and bounce this a little bit here. Markets are pricing in a Fed rate cut in September. Hold on, I got to get this there we go. Okay. So looking here, if we take a look, September, markets are still, there we go. Markets are still, right now, the Fed funds rate is at 5.25 to 5.5. That's the range. And it's basically about a 65% expectation that we'll see a rate cut by September. In June, we did not see any moves, of course. July expectation, about 90% that will stay exactly the same in July. So the September meeting, we've got 3 more times that we're going to get data between now and that meeting. We'll get the July, the August, and the September data, the jobs reports. In fact, September meeting is on the 18th. So yeah, we'll have gotten 3 more CPI readings. We will get the July, the August, and the September CPI inflation readings by then. So there's a lot to happen between now and September. And markets think that in those basically 3 cycles of data, of labor market data and inflation, and then of course the other economic data that comes around that, markets believe that we're going to see signs that the Fed is going to need to cut rates in order to keep things going, stop the labor market from seeing unemployment rise too high. Already seen some small ticks there, and then seeing economic weakness. Now, what's funny, so like we had some comments from Neel Kashkari. Let me find, here we go. So like Kashkari, he is absolutely positively a big time hawk. He is a hawkish Fed member, meaning that he is not really big on soft economic policy and accommodative policy. So Kashkari over the weekend, he said the Fed needs to take its time ahead of any rate cuts. If there's any cuts, it would be once in 2024, and it would be towards the year's end. That's if Kashkari was in charge. Now, Kashkari, it's important to note, he's not even a voting member this year. So there's 19 Fed members, and only, I think about 12 of them vote. I'd have to double check the numbers. Maybe it's even less than that. So only a handful of them actually get to vote at the FOMC meeting minutes, or not minutes, but the FOMC meetings about if rates are going to go up or go down, or, rate hikes, rate cuts, keeping rates the same. So he's always out here, chirping. We need to see more evidence to convince us inflation is well on our way back down to 2%. Now, what's kind of funny, though, remember the Fed uses the PCE, personal consumption expenditure. They use the PCE index for inflation, not CPI. CPI runs higher. So like the CPI data came in the threes, but when you look at this PCE data, take a look here. At the end of 2023, the PCE data for year over year was 2.6. The core was 2.9. Core excludes food and energy. It's considered to be more volatile. Generally, they're looking at the core number, right? So this came in at 2.9. January, it was 2.9 on the core. February 2.8, March 2.8, April 2.8. So we're going to get another PCE report. It's going to come in on the 28th of this month. It's about almost about 2 weeks from today. And I think that'll come in probably 2.6. I think it better than 2.7. I think it'll come in at 2.6. I think it'll give a more significant drop, especially the core PCE. And when you look at this number and you listen to like Kashkari and he's like, oh, we need signs that we're getting close back down to 2%. Well, yes, it's taking its time, but they weren't looking for it to be back to 2% by this year anyway. They were looking for it to get to 2% next year. So it is working its way back to 2%. And the problem is if the Fed waits too long before they start reducing what they call their neutral rate, their Fed funds rate, they're going to choke the economy down. So inflation will drop, but by the time it gets there, it'll overshoot. Everything's lagging, right? So when they take these actions. So like Kashkari, he's a guy that's always out there, beating the horse that we need to take our time, get more data, not cut rates. If there's just one rate cut this year, it would likely come towards the end of the year, if there's just one rate cut. But the reality is markets are currently pricing in 2 cuts. 43%. It's only a 30% expectation. So less than a third that there'd be 1 cut, more than 2/3 that we'll see 2 cuts. So markets are pricing that in. And if we get data that goes towards that, because of that, though, in the near term, like I've shown you here on this chart, let me pull this over a little bit so we can, there you go. So taking a look here, you could see, I feel like we've kind of hit our cap for the next couple of weeks. So if you got loans closing in June, I would look to lock them. I think that it's just a good time when you take a look at this. When we look at Mortgage News Daily as a reference point and take a look at where mortgage rates are at, we've been at 6.98, 6.97, 6.99. Compare that to where we were at 7.16, 7.17, 7.15, even higher, 7.29, 7.34, 7.28. These are the best rates that we've seen in a while, and we don't want to waste them. So loans closing near term, I would lock. If it's 15 to 30 days, if you're going into July, we kind of want to wait and see what the July July data brings us, right? So we would have July BLS report and probably a CPI report before you have to lock a loan. It puts us at about a month. So, but at least that first BLS one, I would be floating that and see if we can't get a little bit better. And then anything 30 plus days, I'd absolutely be floating right now. No reason I would lock it. Ron Siegel said he wonders if Kashkari still thinks inflation is transitory as he claimed in 2021. Yeah, Kashkari always seems to be the one that crows the loudest. And I just don't see him as usually being right. Ron Siegel said the CPI weighs the shelter heavier. Yes, it does. And that's partly the reason why it's higher, as Ron is pointing out. Thank you for confirming for me that it is 12 that vote. Appreciate that. And yeah, Ron, you pointed out Kashkari is generally wrong, and I don't think he votes now. Yeah, I hadn't read the comments, but you and I are on the same on there. By the way, Robert Bashirs, it was so great to see you and Megan in Atlanta, my friend. I'm so happy I got to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. It was awesome to get to see you there. I don't see where your comment is. It's not showing up for me here. Oh, there it is. So the Fed rate drop just before the election. I don't think that the Fed rates are going to matter before the election. I don't think that, arguably it could give a perception lift. The media will grab onto it, but anybody that knows this stuff, I don't think that the Fed is trying to keep Biden elected. And I don't think that they actually can influence this particular election. I think they can influence elections. I just don't think they're going to be influencing this one too much. I think that based on where most of the data is coming in and where things were at, I don't think it's just going to be a big deal here. I think that Powell he's probably getting tired, and I think he's just looking to kind of cement his legacy by having a soft landing and getting this to where they can bring that Fed funds rate down while the economy is still doing well and inflation goes down and unemployment doesn't go up too high. So that'll be some good stuff there. But again, just like all the comments that are on there, as far as make sure you tell me what kind of pie do you like today. As my friend Ron Siegel pointed out, today is wrong one. There it is, National Apple Strudel Day. Let's Google what is an apple strudel. Apple strudel. There you go. So that is an apple strudel. What kind of strudel do you like? I said, what kind of pie do you like too? But what kind of strudel do you like? Apple strudel is pretty awesome. Like Ron said, heat it up warm, throw some vanilla ice cream on that puppy, and I would go with that as well. I like sweets. I like stuff like that. Apple strudel would be really good. I would definitely. Does anyone not like sweets? I guess some people, right? So. And these are my friends. Austin Sierra Apple says Apple is the bomb. Good to see you, Austin. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. That is it for us this weekend. Again, the lock advice is on there for you. Let me pop it up on the screen one more time so we've got it up there. I would be locking anything that's closing on the near term. Like I said, if it's closing in the next 15 days, I would lock it. I just think that we can drift lower, lose some ground. You'll lose some pricing. And I think that it's very unlikely that by holding off, you're going to get better pricing than what we see right now. So because of that, I'd be considering locking. All right, my friends. Well, that is it. I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Or not next